Hey folks, it's Jeff Johnson with UndergroundTrainingLab.com, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry because I sent out an email this morning to tens of thousands of people that were not supposed to receive it. Now, it wasn't a bad email, but it confused a lot of people. So I'm going to walk you through what it is I was trying to do and show you how you can use some of my techniques to increase your open rates, increase your click-through rates, and clean up your email list and save yourself some money in the process. So let me go ahead and show you what it is that I was doing. I was using my Aweber account. I've got quite a few accounts, but this is my Aweber Analytics account. It's a great program. If you don't use it, you should test it out. But you have to remember too that not all the functions of these tricks I'm going to teach you work in every Aweber account. If you have an older Aweber account and you did not choose to upgrade to the analytics package, then some of this won't work, but don't worry, I'm still going to give you some great techniques. I want to show you what happens today so you can avoid it. I'm going to show you some of the tricks that I use to increase my open rates, my click-through rates, and to save myself money on my list. So, first, Aweber charges you for the people who have unsubscribed to your list. So although you aren't sending them any email, you still have to pay for them to be in your database. So I'm going to show you how to remove those people from your list. And you literally could save hundreds of dollars a month, I have, by removing the people over the last couple of years that unsubscribe from my list. There's not a lot. I'll show you how it's done in a second. It's not difficult to do. Second, Aweber, when you send out an email list and you're trying to measure your open rates and your click rates, you're trying to increase them. You're trying to see which subject lines get the most opens and which calls to actions inside the emails get the most clicks. But over time, what happens is that if you don't clean your list regularly, it throws off your numbers. So for example, an email that I sent out today that shows us 13% click rate in the last 4 hours doesn't mean anything compared to an email I sent out last year if I don't keep my list clean. And the reason is quite simple. When you send out a broadcast, Aweber doesn't know why someone doesn't open your email. They just know that they didn't open it. So it lowers over time. Your open rates will go lower and lower if you don't clean out your list. And I haven't cleaned out my list, folks, in over a year. So they've literally dropped from the mid-20s to around the mid-teens now for open rates. That makes it difficult for me to compare my open rates today versus an open rate a year ago because I haven't kept the list clean. Now, if I clean it regularly every few weeks, you'll be able to compare your open rates from today versus a year ago because you'll have the same percentage of people on each list that aren't opening the email. The reason people don't open up their emails over the long run may happen to be that they no longer access the email account that they signed up for your list with. So for example, I sign up for Yahoo accounts, I sign up for Gmail accounts for certain reasons, and then I abandon those accounts. I never officially unsubscribe from someone's list. I just walk away from those mailing accounts because I have a new email account. Same thing happens to your regular mailing list too. People sign up, they never technically unsubscribe, they just stay on a list that they never read because they don't open it. Some people just never want to read your email, but either way, it's not doing you any good to have those people on your mailing list because you pay for them to be on your list at Aweber. So I was trying to test out a new email retention, email reactivation system today, and I made a mistake. I sent the message out to all of my readers instead of just those people that don't read my emails. And I'm going to show you how to use their analytics package in a second, but let me just show you the email. The email I sent out this morning was simply stating I did a split test that said, which subject line gets more opens? Are you okay or are you being removed from my mailing list? Now it turns out that you are being removed from my mailing list has had a substantially greater number of people open the message up and click the link that's inside of it than are you okay. Now these stats won't do me any good in the long run. They won't let me know how my reactivation test went because the mailing went out to the wrong list. It went out to people who actually read my emails. But of the people who opened it, who read my emails, you are being removed from my list actually had a much greater open rate and a much greater click-through rate than are you okay. So if I ever want to use this in the future, I'll know to use you are being removed from my mailing list. The problem is that I set up the split test yesterday, but I didn't send it out until today. So you'll notice I set up on 3rd, but I didn't send it out until the 4th. So yesterday when I set up the split test, I didn't realize that you can't sub-segment out your list. So what it did is when I set it up, I didn't realize that. I came back today, I wrote the email, I sent it out on a split test, and what happened was it went out to everyone on the mailing list. It didn't just go out to my no open segment. I'm going to show you how that works in a second. So that was the mistake I made. The message was completely innocuous. All it said was, you haven't opened one of my emails or clicked a link in the last 6 months. It means that this email address is dead. So I'm getting ready to remove you from my mailing list unless I see signs of life from your email address. Please click this link just to let me know you're still out there. Now, the reason I had to have them click a link is simple. Aweber cannot tell if you opened up a text-based email unless they click a link inside the email. And since a lot of people to this day and age still don't like to have HTML emails sent to them or can't read it, your HTML emails will be converted to text, and I include text versions for every email I send out. So Aweber, I couldn't tell if they open up the email if it's a text-based email, so I had to put in a link, and I had to have a call to action. And all it was is it says, here's a link, click it, let me know that you're still out there. And if you do, it just sent them to my blog. It wasn't a sales pitch. It wasn't even a blog post. It was just a link to my blog saying, hey, click this so I can tell that you're still out there. So Aweber knows not to remove you from my mailing list. That's why I did that. So the message was innocent, but it confused quite a few people because guess what? It went out to everyone who actually reads my emails by mistake. I apologize for that. Let's see what we can learn, though. First, let's talk about open rates and click rates. The name of the game is to increase the number of open rates and increase the number of click rates. This particular email is only one. This list is only one of at least 15 here in this Aweber account and dozens of other ones at other email services like One Shopping Cart. So this particular one, I start by testing my headlines here. And by headlines, I mean subject lines. If I find a subject line that works here, I can then roll it out to all my other email lists. I can then actually turn my subject lines into a headline for text links on my blog or even my banner ads. Here's a tip I actually have found. By going back to the subject line that's get the highest open rates inside my emails system, the subject lines that get the highest open rates here generally turn out to be really, really high click-through rate banners in my ad network. So I actually, some of my best converting banners, 5% click-through rates and some banners that I show actually started out as subject lines in my email system. So that's why you want to work on increasing through split testing, increasing your open rates. That's why this thing is important. Now also, I have 2 or 3 years worth of data in this Aweber account, and I can take a look at a year or two ago through the analytics program, and I can see my open rates for different markets over the past year or two. But the problem is, today's open rate from just a few hours ago of 13.4% doesn't mean anything compared to an open rate from a year ago if I don't keep my list clean. And I'll admit I haven't. That's why I was doing my testing today. A year ago, this email probably would have had a 26% open rate because there weren't a lot of there weren't a lot of no opens people on the list. But as I said, over time, you get an account at Yahoo, you get an email account at MSN or at Gmail, and then you walk away from it. You never unsubscribe, and because they don't unsubscribe, Aweber does not know that they're not unsubscribed. They see them as still being subscribed to my list. So it lowers my open rates over time, so it makes it more difficult for me to compare the open rates from today to the open rates of the same market segment from last year. So it's a good idea to keep cleaning it up. Just increase your open rates, just increase your click rates, and to be able to compare today's open rates to last week's open rates to last month's to last year's to keep it consistent. You can also save money because Aweber will charge you for no opens on your list, and they charge you for people who have unsubscribed to your list but are still in your database. I'm going to show you how to take care of that right now. We head on over to subscribers and we go to search. And we simply want to search for people. We can do it 2 ways. Let's start right now with people who have stopped status, unsubscribe. That means this is a list of people who have unsubscribed from my list. I do a quick search, and there's 80 some odd thousand people on the list that still are people on my list, unsubscribers, that don't get my emails. They don't adversely affect my open rates or click-through rates because they're not even being sent emails by me, but Aweber's still charging them for me. So first, before you ever erase anything, any of these searches that I show you how to do, before you erase any of them, make sure you click the little symbol of the Excel data sheet, spreadsheet, because that will save the records for you in a file that you can download to your desktop. And someday in the future, believe me, you may want to have a record of who was on your list and who wasn't, when they joined it, what IP address they used, whether or not they were double opted or not. Just trust me on this, folks. Make sure before you delete any of these things, you save the record of it by clicking this little symbol here. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet symbol, and save it to your desktop. So we've got a list of people that have asked to unsubscribe from my mailing list. I can delete them if I want to. If I want to delete them, I would head on over here to where it says erase. I'd check this box, and then it would automatically check all the people that are on the list for now on each page. I'd scroll down to the bottom of my page, and I'd click a little button down there that either says save changes or delete. I can't remember what it says. But all you have to do is click this here, and you'll know what to do once you see it. Or another choice is I could go here, and let's say I'm doing a search for not unsubscribe, but let's say no opens. This is where the problem was today. I set up no opens. I said, find me a list of all the people who haven't opened up a single email from me in the last 6 months. And that's what I did. So I went back to July 1st, 2009. In reality, I probably should just do it for 3 months, because I figure if they haven't opened an email in 3 months, they're probably not reading my emails or not getting them. So I went back to July and I did a search. The problem with this is this will erase, it'll give me a list of everyone who hasn't opened an email from me in the last 6 or 7 months. However, if somebody joined my list just 2 days ago and hasn't had a chance to get back to their inbox and hasn't had a chance to open up one of my emails in the last 2 days or a week, then this would also delete them. And I don't want that to happen because they just joined my list. So I also want to go in here to what's called the date added feature. And I say, anyone who has been added to this list before, let's go back a couple weeks and say January 20th. And this says, give me a list of people who haven't opened up a single email between July 1st, 2009 and January 20th. That gives them a couple of weeks to actually read one of my emails. So I figure get them off my list, but I don't want to get people off my list who just joined a week or two ago because they haven't seen something maybe, or they haven't checked the email where they could actually click something. So that's how you do it, folks. You say date added before a certain date. Choose it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. It's your choice. Hit this search box. Once you hit the search box, it's going to come up with a list of names, and you're going to be able to save that name, those list of names, to a segment. So let's say this one is no opens list. I put in no opens, and I hit save to a segment. Now I have a list of people that haven't opened my emails from July until January 20th. I can then go back to my broadcast areas, and I can send a specific message to just those people and only those people. So if I went in to create a broadcast message here, I'd go into the broadcast message. I'd write my message, type it in, whatever I want to do. And this is what I did today. I was sending them a message to try to reactivate them. I wanted to do a test for my coaching clients and see if I could actually reactivate some of the people who haven't actually opened an email in 6 months by telling them they were being removed. So then I could go here and it says send a segment. So instead of sending it to everybody on my list, I can actually choose one of the segments that I've set up in the past to say send it to these people, whether they're opens, no opens, whatever it is. And then I could save my broadcast message, and it literally then would only go out to those people. Let's get out of here because we're not actually doing it today. It would only go out to that segment of my list. So there you have it, folks. If you want to clean your list, get rid of the people who aren't opening your emails because it skews, it throws off your open rates, it also throws off your click rates, it throws off your testing. If you want to get rid of the no opens people, I showed you how to do it. If you want to get rid of the unsubscribed people from your database, and the reason you want to do that, save it first, but you want to get them off your list because as I told you before, you're still getting charged for those people every single month. I mean, it could add up over the course of several years. It could add up to hundreds of dollars every month that you're paying for your unsubscribers if you have a big list and if you aren't cleaning it. So go back over here, do a search for unsubscribed people, and here's a tip. If you do a search for unsubscribed people on your list, so if you go here to stop status and you've got a list that's got a lot of unsubscribers on it and you haven't cleaned it for a few years, do a check. And when you do that, it comes up with a lot of people. Instead of doing it one by hand, simply go to Aweber's help desk. Tell them that you need some help. Tell them you have an email list that has unsubscribers on it and you want to have them deleted from your database. First thing you want to do is search the database yourself. You want to save that database listing, that segment, to your hard drive so you have a record of it. Then you go to Aweber's help desk. You say, hey, you know what? I got too many people to unsubscribe myself. Go ahead. Yeah, have them delete it for you. It'll save you a bunch of time. My name is Jeff Johnson, undergroundtraininglab.com. Once again, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to confuse anyone. It went out to the wrong list. Now you know how to put the tricks, put these tools to use. Aweber Analytics. My name is Jeff Johnson, undergroundtraininglab.com. I appreciate your time. We'll talk again soon.